Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of Alien Month, the 5-part series where I'll be taking a look at something alien related every week throughout October and sharing my stupid opinions on those things. This week I'm going to be taking a look at the first 4 Alien movies, ranging from 1979 to 1997. We've got a lot of ground to cover in this video, so let's waste no more time. Oh, and by the way, if I sound kind of out of it at the moment, that's because I'm currently fighting off a viral infection. Typical that happened to, come out of nowhere just as I promised a video every week in October, so the show must go on, I guess. To put it simply, the original Alien is my #1 favourite movie of all time. I absolutely love it. One thing that always stuck out to me about this movie is that it depicts space in a very grounded way. This ain't no flashy Star Wars with cool battles and flashy looking spacecrafts and whimsical adventures. For the crew of the US CSS Nostromo, it's just another day of work. I've always really liked the design of the Nostromo, both outside and in. It's about as boring and industrial as a spaceship could possibly look, being manned by the most average Joe crew you could possibly imagine. When making the movie, Ridley Scott went out of his way to make sure that the characters didn't look like Han Solo-y, Star Trek-y space cadet types. What he said is that he wanted to get characters that looked like truckers in space. People that are just doing a 9 to 5, just ordinary people that just happen to be doing their job in space. Like, to them it's normal that they're in space. It isn't magical and crazy. They're like, it's a living, whatever. I hit my elbow while saying all that, owie. Not only did this set the tone of the film really well, but this completely went against pretty much all the codes and conventions of space movies at their time. Up until this point, space was often seen as colourful, exciting, crazy, magical. In Alien, it's just a bunch of sleepy mechanics complaining about their wage. There's also nothing I love more than a movie from 1979 depicting what the future would look like. Man, that is modern technology right there, if ever I've seen it. I've heard some people say that this does date the movie for them and it makes it seem a bit too cheesy, but I love it. I feel like it not only adds some personality to the film, but it actually suits the theme of the story. I get the feeling that even in the Alien universe, the Nostromo is considered a pretty crappy beat-up hunk of old junk. If it was all shiny and chrome and revolutionary, it wouldn't really fit. Like, if you tried to put the story of Alien into the aesthetic of the recent Star Trek movies, it wouldn't really work, or at the very least it would be an entirely different movie. The way I see it, piloting the Nostromo in Alien is like driving this around in 2016. It's not great by any means, but it gets the job done. Oh shit! Moving on to another point, let's be honest. We all know the Xenomorph by now. We know what it looks like, how it works, how it evolves, how it attacks. We've kinda seen it all by this point. But even without that element of the unknown, it's impressive just how much Alien still stands up today. Even if it isn't quite as scary as it once might have been, it's still a very engaging movie. Ellen Ripley's evolution throughout the movie from average grunt worker to, well, one of the most badass characters in film history is really well done. From the very beginning of the movie, she's shown to assert dominance, be wary of authority figures, and manage herself under pressure. So when she's forced into scarier and scarier situations, her survival instincts kick in and you totally buy it. It's a transformation that you believe, and it's incredibly satisfying to see it through. And that's all I have to say about Alien, which means I'm now moving on to the plural sequel, Aliens! If you really take a step back and look at the concept of this movie, its very existence is pretty bizarre. Take a movie like Alien, which is very slow and creepy and moody and grim. Hey, let's make the sequel the complete polar opposite of that. A, when does that ever happen ever? And 2, how the hell does it result in one of, if not the best movie sequel of all goddamn time? Honestly, I don't even know what I can say about this movie that hasn't already been said. It's Aliens. It has everything. On one hand, it has the action and set pieces and memorable quotes of a dumb popcorn movie. But on the other hand, it also has a lot of heart, and it expands on Ripley's character in such an incredibly interesting and intimate way, and the way it's able to juggle being both a dumb popcorn movie and a real movie is unparalleled. There's also nobody on the entire planet who could have done a better job with a movie like this than James Cameron, because his affinity for mixing practical effects with CGI is why this movie still looks bloody phenomenal. Like 30 years later, like shots from this movie, like I don't think there's a single part of this movie that like hasn't aged like, amazingly. Like, I mean, it hasn't aged at all. His work in this movie is amazing. Like, would you ever look at this and even think twice about it? As far as I'm concerned, the Queen Xenomorph is real. This is all real. This actually happened. This isn't... Look at this! Like I said, I can't really say anything about this movie that you haven't heard a million times already. And if you haven't seen this movie, then I don't really know what's wrong with you, so go bloody see it already, you stupid idiot! Alien Cubed. Now this is where things start to get a little more interesting, as people are pretty divided on this movie. I watched this movie for the first time for the sake of this video, and I loved it. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, yeah, it doesn't come close to the other movies, but at the same time, I don't really think it's trying to. Quite like Aliens, I can appreciate Alien 3 for going in a different direction and trying something new. And try something new it did. This movie makes a lot of really interesting choices, some of them harder to swallow than others. A lot of people consider the opening of this film to be a slap in the face, including James Cameron and some of the cast of Aliens. But although at first I did hate it, I was able to come round to it in the end and actually learn to appreciate it for what it is. It stays consistent with the theme that Ripley is in a never-ending nightmare, and you're only ever temporarily saved from the Xenomorph, because like it or not, the Xenomorph always finds a way to win in the end. That's kind of what temporarily means, but whatever. I also like how it throws Ripley into a situation where the people around her are just as potentially dangerous as the Xenomorph itself, making her even more of an outcast than ever before. Speaking of which, I really liked some of the new characters in this movie. I liked Charles Dance as Dr. Clements. He was like a standout character to me, aside from Ripley, obviously. And this guy, I don't remember his Deacon? No, that's not his name, but whatever his name is, I liked him, the guy that I'm showing on screen right now. He was cool. Saying that though, not everything holds up, the CGI looks a little bit weird, and there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of veggie swearing in it, but nevertheless, I'm glad I've seen it, I'm glad it exists, and I'm glad that the Alien trilogy got the finale it deserved. Anyway, now moving on to Alien Resurrection. Oh my god. To be honest, I don't want to devote too much time to talking about Alien Resurrection because it really isn't worth it. I don't want to give the movie any credit. It doesn't deserve the spotlight, honestly, because it's such a mind-numbingly stupid movie. I really wanted to be the one guy to say, you know what guys, Alien Resurrection really isn't that bad. It doesn't deserve all the hate it gets, but it really, really does, and it makes me really sad to say that. So the main drive of this movie is that Ripley has been cloned hundreds and hundreds of years after the events of Alien 3 with the DNA of a xenomorph, I guess? So she's half human, half xenomorph, so she's still Ripley, I suppose, but she also has superhuman strength, acid blood, she can bloody throw a basketball backwards and land a hoop behind her head, I guess? I don't bloody know! And I'm not just saying that it's a stupid idea and the movie sucks because that's what everyone does and I'm riding the bandwagon. I really tried to gel with what the movie was going for and appreciate it for what it was doing, but the idea of Ripley being like a creature version of herself, I don't even need to say that that's a stupid idea. And even aside from that, even forgetting the whole Ripley xenomorph cloning DNA thing, the movie tries so hard to be French and metaphorical and artsy-fartsy with metaphors of rebirth, and there's this scene with this guy doing this? I don't bloody know. Saying that though, the scene with the Ripley clones and how they're all like, kill me, and Ripley's like, okay, whoosh. That's a cool scene. Does it warrant its existence because of a cool scene? No, but, you know, it was cool for about 2 minutes. It was a very Ripley-ish scene, so I appreciated that. But apart from that, it was dumb. Really, really dumb. And I don't like it. And so that's pretty much my reviews of the Alien Quadrilogy, and you know what, 3 out of 4 movies that are worth watching, that isn't really that bad. 75% track record, 3 movies that are worth watching, 1 movie that isn't really too bad. And I have nothing else to say really, this video's already gone on long enough. See you in the next and final week of Alien Month everyone, bye!